Hey guys, tonight we explore something your brain might pretend it understands but definitely does not. A universe where time flows backward, and you get to feel every strange moment of that reversal. Before we drift too deep into this cosmic mischief, if you enjoy this kind of nightly trip through space and impossible science, you can tap that like button or subscribe so we can keep hanging out under the stars whenever you want. It means a lot. Now make the room softer. Let the glow fade. Let the fan hum or the night breeze whisper. Sink a little deeper into your pillow. We are going to undo time together. You sense clocks around you refusing to march forward anymore. Instead of tick-tock, it is tock-tick, each beat pulling your awareness into the past. You feel your memories loosening, not vanishing but rewinding. Something odd happens in your head. You don't remember what you had for dinner. Then suddenly you do again, but the plate is full and untouched, the flavour untasted, the meal uneaten. You are slipping into a world that cares more about origins than outcomes. You lift your hand. It moves back before it moves forward. It is like time is tugging your elbow instead of guiding your fingers. You blink. For a moment, the dark room brightens as if lights just turned back on, but you did not touch a switch. Light refuses to fade. It runs home into the bulb where it began, and darkness spreads, not because the night grows deeper, but because time insists light must return to the source. You notice something funny. You try to yawn, feeling sleep tug at your mind, but instead you unyawn. A breath slips back inside. Your jaw closes without permission. If you had a hiccup earlier today, get ready, because it might reverse too, like a tiny frog hopping back into your throat. People argue whether time is fundamental or just a human way of lining up cosmic chaos. But right now, you are the debate. You are proof that direction is negotiable. You sit up slightly and feel the strangest sensation of déjà vu unhappening. All those times you thought, I've been here before, now reverse into, maybe I'll be here later, and it actually makes more sense. You laugh quietly at how bizarre it all feels. The chuckle comes out, then reels back in, and you feel the vibration in your chest vanish like it never existed. Well, that's one way to keep bedtime quiet. Your pillow fluff rises where your head had flattened it. The dents disappear, smoothing into perfect softness as though your night has not yet begun. The warmth from your body pulls away into the air, cooling the sheet beneath you. You are becoming earlier than a minute ago, earlier than a breath ago, earlier than the moment you pressed play. You look at the clock again. Minutes are retreating like shy turtles. It is not just the present changing. Your entire timeline tugs at you. You feel every regret soften, then dissolve. Embarrassing memories march backward into mistake-free innocence. That time you tripped in public? Suddenly you are upright again, confidence restored, shoes not yet tangled. Your phone battery climbs up instead of down. Notifications slide unread. Messages unsend themselves. Someone you thought ghosted you actually unghosts. They appear again in your conversation history and type a greeting that becomes a goodbye, that becomes silence, that becomes possibility. Your heartbeat is a drummer learning the song in reverse. Lub-dub becomes dub-lub. Blood flows from fingertips back toward your heart as if your body is tidying up the day. Your hair shifts softly against your scalp. Strands that fell earlier gently reattach themselves. Someone out there who shaved this morning now watches their beard creep back like tiny time-traveling vines. There is comfort in this reversal. Mistakes undo themselves. Pain unhurts. Even gravity feels like it is reconsidering its job. A glass you broke last week reassembles shard by shard, then lifts into your hand as if giving you a second chance not to drop it this time. Scientists still wonder if this kind of backward flow exists somewhere in quantum mechanics. Maybe particles already do this while we sleep. Maybe your dreams are the brain's practice runs for a universe that does not always choose forward. You remain perfectly safe here, though. Even if you technically might not survive a full timeline rewind, do not worry. This version is gentle. It pampers you. It wants you relaxed. You stretch, but then unstretch as the motion rewinds, like your muscles want to erase every last hint of tension. It feels glorious. Calm grows thick like honey around you. You feel the story urging you deeper. You feel the night learning how to untell itself. Events that already happened tonight shrink into possibility. Conversations reverse back into unspoken thoughts. The world is not closing. It is reopening. And you, floating on your bed, let the process continue. No resistance, just trust. Time is folding itself like a ribbon in your hands, and you are letting go of the end that pulls you forward. You are sliding toward the beginning, one soothing moment at a time. Your thoughts slow, your breath drifts backward, and the night begins to unwind. You lie perfectly still as the air around you performs a strange magic trick. Breath no longer enters then leaves your lungs. Instead, the exhale comes first. Your chest gently contracts as a sigh unstretches itself inside you, cool air sliding backward up your throat like a friendly ghost returning to its cozy haunt. The inhale you are about to take waits patiently, because in this backward world, patience is just anticipation playing in reverse. Stars outside your window wink, but not because they are shining. Their light is leaving you, gliding backward through the darkness, threading itself through space toward its home star like a cosmic message being unsent. The night sky brightens just slightly as the oldest photons near your eyes jump ship and hurry away. You are watching history rewind in delicate silence. You tilt your face upward, or maybe downward depending on how time wants to behave tonight, and you witness constellations undraw themselves. Those patterns your ancestors named are dissolving, spreading their points of light like scattered beads returning to separate jewelry boxes. The Big Dipper becomes a ladle that never scooped. Orion lowers his bow, then forgets he was ever hunting anything at all. Scientists still debate whether these stars truly shine, or if our perception is the only reason they sparkle. Now those arguments feel tiny compared to what you are experiencing. Light is a memory that refuses to stay present. Even a casual glance becomes archaeology. There is a tingle behind your eyes, a reminder that light itself once had different directions to choose from. Some say photons do not care about time. They exist as if past and future are both invitations. Tonight, you get to feel that lack of hurry, like every beam of light is politely excusing itself from your timeline. A fun thought crosses your mind. If you sneeze in backward time, does the sneeze unsneeze before it launches? Does the tickle start as relief and move toward irritation? Lucky you, your sinuses remain on strike tonight. Bedtime is no place for reverse explosive nose fireworks. You shift under your blanket, and the whisper of fabric reverses too. The warmth you left a moment ago pulls away like it remembers belonging to earlier hours. Your body does not get colder exactly. It just becomes less recently warm. Comfort drifts backward, turning into comfort from before. Shadows stretch the wrong way. Instead of following the motion of light, they lead it, anticipating brightness the way footprints anticipate footsteps when time is shy about showing up. You watch one shadow slowly climb a wall, as if gravity is encouraging it to rise, not fall. Out in the cosmos, enormous things quietly unwind. Galaxies reverse their slow-motion swirls, their spiraled arms tightening like dancers unspinning from a pose. Stars that once burst in dramatic supernovae now gather their expelled material back into themselves, refusing to die gracefully. Planets unburn inside stellar bellies, cooling as they return to their cosmic cradles. Black holes do something unimaginable. They shrink, because even darkness does not want to eat when the menu is running in reverse. You feel a tiny flutter in your chest at that idea. The universe itself is simplifying, removing, forgetting, becoming less complicated with every reverse tick. You are drifting into an age where everything still has potential but no certainty. It makes you feel strangely free, like time has forgiven all your impatience. Your phone screen, face down beside you, flickers for a microsecond as notifications that had arrived earlier in the day decide they were never sent. Somewhere, someone's dog unchews a shoe and returns it good as new. Somewhere, coffee flows upward into mugs, into pots, into beans, into flowers, into seeds. Bills unpay. Deadlines decide they never existed. And yes, that one embarrassing text someone sent you, it sucks itself back into their typing bubble, and they get to rethink every emoji before it becomes real again. You breathe the reverse breath again. The air around you feels different, heavier with possibility. Instead of oxygen rushing in to keep you alive, it is like your cells are whispering their stored energy back into the atmosphere, but gently, without threat. Even metabolism is undoing itself in such a calm rhythm that your body feels weightless. People argue whether the human mind can imagine true reversal of cause and effect. Some say it breaks logic. Others say logic was always just time wearing a fancy hat. But right now, lying here wrapped in cosmic backwardness, logic can wait its turn. You relax deeper, trusting the universe to unhappen softly. The room continues to brighten so subtly you barely notice. Darkness is no longer closing your eyes. Instead, daylight from tomorrow is stepping backward into your space, retreating into yesterday. A bird that chirped outside earlier now absorbs its own song. You hear nothing except the silence of sound returning to quiet. Even the hum of your fan takes back its vibrations in small invisible gulps. Peace is not arriving. It is reappearing, like a familiar friend who forgot their keys and walked back in the door. You close your eyes, not to sleep but to journey inward. Memories unroll like film running backward on a projector. You see yourself brushing your teeth in reverse, the foam leaping back onto bristles. You see yourself talking to someone you love, the smile beginning before the joke is told. You feel tears that once fell now nestle back into your eyes, uncried and gentle. You are not losing moments, you are gaining beginnings. There is humour in this backward world, a soft joke only the sleepy truly understand. You are aging politely in reverse, becoming slightly younger each passing minute. Wrinkles smooth out like shy lines refusing to appear. You could wake up tomorrow looking accidentally fabulous. Not a bad perk for bedtime science fiction. Above you, the stars continue unshining, their ancient photons racing into history. You can almost hear their footsteps, tiny pricks in space-time walking home. Somewhere, a comet decides not to crash. Somewhere, a planet never breaks into pieces. Somewhere, a species uncancels itself. Your breath slides backward one more time, slower, softer. You feel the world tip a little closer toward Bazd, and you let it carry you there, one gentle anti-second at a time. The night is no longer moving forward. It is unwriting itself beautifully, and you float inside the story. You wake before you fall asleep, and it makes perfect sense here. Dreams crawl backward out of your head like soft smoke returning to the candle. You feel lighter, younger, maybe even slightly less guilty about that pizza you will eat tomorrow, because digestion is optional when time forgets which direction calories work. The walls around you breathe with faint reversed rhythm. Somewhere, dawn unbreaks, and sunlight withdraws gracefully from the horizon, pulling warm colours back into the deep vault of night. You watch through the window as the sky reclaims the blues and tricks it lent to morning, folding them neatly away like laundry. You are a spectator of cosmic housekeeping. Out beyond the clouds, galaxies perform their own act of tidying. They shrink, coiling inward like scrolls closing. Each one remembers being smaller, tighter, simpler. Stars that had drifted apart across billions of years now gravitate inward, orbit by orbit, into a compact shimmer of potential. It is not chaos, it is choreography running in elegant reverse. Your heart feels this same movement. It slows, not from fatigue, but from contentment. Each beat is a tiny backward step, a retreat into safety. Blood retracts from your fingertips, warming your chest instead, as if it knows your body's center is where time folds most gently. You glance toward the faint glow of your clock. The numbers are calmly counting down, undoing seconds with the composure of a librarian, shelving minutes in their proper order. You smile, thinking how humans are obsessed with progress, always forward, always next. Yet this backward flow feels cleaner, lighter, like progress was just an overcomplicated way of describing stress. A fact hums in your mind. In some quantum equations, time can move in either direction, and the math still balances perfectly. Maybe the universe is ambidextrous about causality. Maybe it just chooses a direction out of convenience. Tonight, you feel the luxury of switching lanes. You notice your hair feels longer. Not dramatically, just enough that gravity tugs it differently against the pillow. You run a hand through it, laughing quietly at the absurdity. Somewhere in your body, cells are deciding they prefer being unshed. Dead skin becomes alive again. The tiniest freckles fade like secrets being whispered away. People still argue about what aging even means. Is it damage, entropy, or simply time's graffiti? In reverse, you see how gracefully the body erases that handwriting. It does not fight decay, it simply forgets to happen. Wrinkles uncrease themselves with the politeness of a closing curtain. Scar tissue turns back into unblemished memory. Your surroundings echo the gesture. The nightstand reclaims its dust. The candle you burned last week refills with wax. The wick rises taller, waiting to be unlit. It is as if the room is practicing gratitude by returning every gift. Outside, somewhere distant but clear, thunder unrolls. A storm in the atmosphere above reverses its tantrum. Lightning flashes upward into clouds, sewing the sky back together. The smell of rain fades into dryness. Puddles shrink into raindrops that rise, delicate and shimmering, back toward their mother clouds. Even chaos behaves with tenderness when played backward. You imagine Earth itself participating. Forests unburn, trees drawing carbon from smoke and placing it neatly back into their trunks. Rivers pull their waves upstream, carving valleys into hills instead of wearing them down. Fish glide backward through currents that feel less like resistance and more like reunion. Somewhere deep in the ocean, coral reefs recolor themselves, vibrant pinks and blues crawling back over the pale bones of what once bleached. You chuckle softly. In this timeline, your recycling finally works. Even time has gone green. Your stomach feels an odd pull, as if digestion itself is rethinking its direction. It's not uncomfortable, more like gentle rewiring. Food you ate earlier in the day begins to unmix, flavors neatly unblending in reverse order of delight. Somewhere in there, taste buds experience dessert first, then main course, then appetizer, then anticipation. Your tongue enjoys déjà vu, but the culinary version. You stretch again, absurd, of course, and the yawn that tries to follow simply retreats like an echo that doesn't want to leave. Every motion you make feels rehearsed in rewind. The sheets slide upward, smoothing themselves over you, corners tucking in as if your bed prefers to make itself before you get up. In space, this reversal continues. The Milky Way curls tighter, shedding its arms of starlight, spiraling towards something older and smaller. The cosmic microwave background, that faint radiation hum left from the Big Bang, begins to gather. It cools upward, getting hotter as it unspreads. The universe is compressing its sigh. You are lying inside a breath being inhaled after eons of exhale. You whisper, "How far back can we go?" And the sound slips quietly out, then back in, the syllables returning to your lips like shy birds. Maybe language itself unwinds first, vowels swallowing consonants until everything becomes a hum. Communication simplifies into vibration, thought into pulse, you into potential. People still wonder what the universe was before it began. Maybe this is it, a rehearsal, a gentle regression through cosmic history. You feel a comforting irony. Even as you move backward, your understanding deepens. The more the universe simplifies, the more you feel expanded. A soft grin touches your lips. You realize you're getting younger in this timeline, but your mind feels older, wiser, calmer. That's the secret gift of reverse time. It teaches without making you wait. In the corner of your eye, the night sky looks different. Fewer stars now, more shadows. As galaxies condense, they emit less light, but more promise. You feel gravity's pull not downward, but inward, toward the center of everything, toward beginnings. And as you exhale your last backward breath of this section, it loops around and becomes the first breath you ever took. You feel the warmth of the sun increasing, but not because a new day is coming. Instead, the light reaching Earth is getting younger with every reverse second, fresher than anything daylight has offered in a long forward-flowing time. You stretch your fingers toward the window as though you could catch sunlight in reverse motion, not warming your skin but taking warmth back, like the sun is politely reclaiming small debts of energy. The air tastes different, less used. It feels like the earth itself is unaging beneath you. Soil gathers back the nutrients plants once borrowed, pulling them inward. Fallen leaves rise gracefully from the ground, stitching themselves to branches like tiny nature miracles performing without applause. Trees no longer drop what they grow, they ungrow what they dropped. You sit up slowly, and the motion glides backward even as you think it forward. You want to see how the world looks when time undoes its own artwork. The continents beneath your feet are shifting, but not the drifting you learned in school. They are resolving old disagreements, sliding gently back toward each other, as if trying to return to a shared embrace. Africa inches closer toward South America, like puzzle pieces finding their way home. Mountains unerode, peaks sharpen quietly, edges smoothing in reverse only to become sharper than before. The Himalayas reach higher, not from new tectonic force but from ancient erosion unhappening. Snow that melted earlier during the day now climbs back upward, flurries moving skyward like playful feathers caught in slow-motion updraft. People still debate whether the sun is slowly growing hotter as it ages. In reverse, you watch it ungrow brighter, easing back into youthful radiance. Sunspots fade inward, solar flares retreat like fiery tongues being politely tucked away. The star that once promised eventual burnout now promises endless restarting. A smile finds your lips. It is comforting to imagine that even stars get a redo. Humans often joke about wishing they could take back a bad decision. Here, the entire planet demonstrates how effortlessly the universe forgives itself. Mistakes are not erased, they are simply unmade. It is subtle but beautiful. Even wildfires unburn their forests, flames collapsing inward, charcoal brightening into bark, sparks falling downward in reverse, like a firework being gently gathered into its shell. You watch birds in flight, but the flapping of wings looks whimsical and strange. They fly backward, or maybe they never left their nest at all. Feathers drift upward to wings that reabsorb them, the sky giving back all its borrowed things. A soft laugh bubbles up in your throat. What if your alarm clock rings tomorrow morning before you set it tonight? You imagine snoozing a future alarm you haven't earned yet. In reverse time, procrastination might be a talent. Your phone, still nearby, glows briefly. Battery levels continue to rise. It feels like everything is committing to renewal. The apps you opened now unopen. Notifications retreat into silence. The digital world prefers waiting to doing. You notice your bed. The creases from your body smooth themselves out even as you lie there. The pillow plumps back up. Sheets tuck themselves tighter around the mattress. Housekeeping has never been so intuitive. Even crumbs on the floor bounce upward into yesterday's snacks, rearranging themselves like edible time travelers. Your heartbeat slows again, and instead of worrying, you feel peace. After all, slowing down is the essence of this experience. The backward whisper of life is calming. It tells you that rushing was always optional. The sun continues its rewind above the horizon. Shadows shift in strange choreography, crawling up buildings and trees as if climbing to see where they came from. Streetlights that turned on earlier now shut off in reverse order, darkness gathering because it has more memory than light. For a sweet, surreal moment, You feel like the world is preparing for an unnight. You step outside into the cool, fresh air. Grass unbends under your feet as if you never stepped on it. Footprints lift out of the soil, their impressions smoothing away. Even the wind returns leaves to trees in gentle rewinds of motion. Instead of gusts, it feels like nature's embrace in reverse. You tilt your head back and gaze up. The sun is slightly smaller now, its edges crisp with youthful fire. Solar radiation is younger, bluer, purer. Ancient photons that were just moments ago headed toward deep space have changed their minds and are heading home. Some scientists suggest that time might be tied to entropy, the universe's messy habit of scattering everything. But if that is true, then this backward flow is order reclaiming the cosmos. It is tidiness restoring potential. It is peaceful, strangely hopeful. You notice humans in the distance going about their reversed routines. A jogger appears to be gently recoiling each step, sweat moving inward instead of outward. A dog retrieves a stick not by grabbing it, but by letting it go and watching it fly magically into its owner's hand. Children do not fall, they rise upward into playful stability, scraped knees turning flawless again, with the sweetest nostalgia. Maybe this backward motion is teaching you something subtle, that everything you worried about happening might just one day unhappen. That loss can unlose, that endings are only directions. Your breath continues its backward dance. You feel your lungs growing slightly stronger. Your skin glows from lost stress. You swear even your bones feel a bit less committed to gravity's drama. Time is treating you like a beloved guest, fixing what forward life wore down. If you could peek inside the sun right now, you would see fusion unfusing, helium surrendering its tightly packed form and easing back into hydrogen. The star is reversing the effort of billions of years with gentle cosmic grace, and Earth responds in kind, lifting heat from the oceans, cooling the seabed, refreshing every tide with the care of a world that prefers beginnings. Civilizations have not yet unraveled fully, but you can sense it coming. Buildings are remembering how to be stones. Roads are reconsidering their direction. Human history is tidying the pages of its story. You take one more breath in reverse. It feels like inhaling possibility. You close your eyes and let the warmth of the sun become younger still. You let the world re-bloom into the version of itself that came before complication. You surrender to the comfort of backward time. Nothing is lost. Everything is returning. You open your eyes and notice human history itself is beginning to politely unwind. Buildings that once stretched proudly toward the sky are bowing back downward, relaxing floor by floor. Windows seal themselves into smooth walls. Cranes that once lifted steel now lower it gently, as if apologizing for all the noise. Entire skylines are deflating into humble beginnings. Civilizations are not collapsing with chaos. They are simplifying with grace. Traffic unjams everywhere. Cars glide backward into driveways, engines calming into silence. Highways detach and shrink into smaller, quieter roads, then into dirt paths, then into the natural ground that remembers what came before all the cement. You glance at the street signs. Words unrid themselves, letters crawling like tiny, determined creatures back into uncarved surfaces. Spoken language feels a bit less necessary with every reverse minute. Conversations turn into unspoken thoughts, and misunderstandings dissolve before they exist. You spot someone scrolling on their phone. The screen unbrightens. Apps close themselves. Texts retreat back into thumbs, then into intentions, then into possibilities that never reach the air. Social media likes disappear. Good news unannounces itself, but so does bad news. There is relief in the unknowing. People still argue whether human progress is real or just an illusion, but reverse time smiles at the debate and removes the scoreboard entirely. In reverse, nobody falls behind. Everyone returns home. You take a slow backward breath and watch a towering construction crane unwind a building frame. The metal beams slide perfectly into trucks that drive themselves in reverse to factories where they are lovingly melted back into ore. Mines are closing, not because resources are gone, but because resources never leave home. Coal and gold and iron sink back into Earth's peaceful ribs. You sit on a bench that becomes smoother beneath you, the paint gaining freshness, the wood regaining gloss. Someone carved their initials there years ago. Those initials soften, then vanish. Love stories unbreak first, then unbegin. Hearts are once again unhurt. A quick chuckle escapes you at the idea that boring meetings of the future could unhappen before they ruin anyone's day. Imagine getting your afternoon back before it starts. You look toward a museum in the distance. Doors are closing while still inviting people to remember. Exhibits pack themselves neatly away. Fossils return marrow to ancient bones, which start walking backward through extinction. Sculptures grow softer, shaping themselves into raw marble. Paintings absorb their colors, letting pigments shuffle into stone and clay. Art does not disappear. It becomes inspiration. Food stalls unwind too. Fruit regrows skins. Breads unbake back into dough. Ingredients separate into raw honesty. Even spices crawl back into seeds. Coffee cups tilt and pour their warmth into pots. Beans unroast. Berries reattach to shrubs. The caffeine jitters reverse into peace that feels almost luxurious. The economy nods politely and steps aside. Money transitions back into metal. Debit cards gift plastic back to oil. Stocks unrise and unfall the same way waves in the ocean return to calm. Financial stress becomes pointless because everything anyone ever needed is returning to them anyway. Your favorite childhood game is back in production? No, wait. It is becoming original again. Toys disassemble into colorful dreams. Amusement parks rewind their screams into giggles. Animation unrenders into sketches, then into doodles, then into invisible imagination waiting patiently for its chance. You feel laughter reverse into smiles, smiles reverse into content breathing. People are evolving into gentleness. Fear uninvents itself. Wars unhappen, not with noise but with dignity. Missiles become fuel. Planes unfly into invention stages. Footsteps on battlefields lift away like the earth sighs in relief. Scientists debate whether history has direction or only motion. Yet what you witness is not regression, it is restoration. A quiet kindness flowing backward through time. You raise a hand and brush it over a brick wall. Dust leaps into place, filling gaps as if eager to belong. Every structure seems to appreciate being unbuilt more than being built. Cities become villages. Villages become settlements. Settlements become footprints washed away by gentle tides. Humans begin to shed habits of trying harder than they need to. Ambition fades into curiosity. Competition unwinds into cooperation. Technology doesn't vanish. It hums backward into brilliance waiting to be rediscovered. You hear music somewhere. A street performer is unplaying their song. Notes return quietly into strings and breath and silence, but the feeling remains. Music was always a heartbeat pretending to be sound. Your own heart agrees. It beats slower, stronger, with rhythm, instead of hurry. Lights inside buildings flip off one by one, as electricity retreats into wires, then into turbines, then into rivers undammed and flowing freely toward mountains rebuilding snow on their peaks. Nature gets to take a breath it has earned 1,000 times. A bird lands nearby, feathers sleek, eyes curious. It hops into reverse flight, gliding backward into a tree that is growing leaves from memory. You notice how peaceful animals look when survival is not forward but inward. Cities hum a lullaby of undoing. You listen. You belong here. One last building, a skyscraper, shrinks back into blueprint form, then into draft paper, then into ink swirling back into pens. Architects undecide decisions, letting possibility take their place. Human hubris becomes humility. Human busyness becomes calm. Human future becomes a chance to start differently. The world does not forget what it learned. It simply uncarries the weight. You breathe out what becomes the breath you will soon breathe in. Your body eases deeper into this backward cradle of civilization. As progress unravels around you, A new kind of progress emerges. Peace. The kind that only comes when nothing demands motion. You are suspended here, between what has been and what will be again, but gentler. Backward time is teaching you that beginnings matter, and you feel ready to continue the journey. Life around you begins to untell the story it has been writing for billions of forward years. The timeline of biology decides it prefers the comfort of a simpler narrative, and evolution itself starts unspooling its greatest hits like a movie rewinding meal by meal, heartbeat by heartbeat. You watch a bird on a branch, and with gentle backward flapping, it drifts toward the ground, not falling, just returning, feathers softening into fuzz, bones becoming lighter, instinct smoothing into simpler signals. It hops backward into an egg that reseals itself with a satisfied click. The shell glows with ancient promise. Farther off, a litter of puppies tumbles in reverse play, excitement becoming curiosity, becoming the unknowing calm, before being born. Their barks unsound, but you can still feel their joy as a vibration in the air, happiness not yet assigned a shape. You breathe slowly, knowing that somewhere beneath your feet, roots withdraw nutrients from soil with polite precision, feeding backward into seeds that shrink, tighten, and nestle closer to the earth's core warmth. Flowers unbloom into buds, petals folding inward like tiny umbrellas preparing for the surprise of sunlight they will one day rediscover. People still debate whether extinction was nature's tragedy or its way of editing the poem of life. Tonight, with the universe running backward, extinction is the first thing to undo itself. Creatures long lost appear again in gentle reverse, stepping forward by stepping back. A dodo waddles across an unharvested field, feathers brightening as its species decides not to leave the stage after all. Woolly mammoths grow thicker coats, ice returning to the world like a comforting winter blanket. You cannot help a soft smile as fish unswim through rivers returning to fresh-born streams. They glide tail first into eggs that regroup the moment before they would have hatched. A single egg returns to being cells. Cells return to being molecules. Molecules return to being playful atoms deciding where to belong next. The air feels fresher with every backward moment. Insects unflutter their wings, crawling back into cocoons that seal like envelopes filled with unsent flight. Caterpillars unchew leaves into even greener foliage. Bees unbuzz into the hive, honey unformed, nectar retreating into flowers that feel younger by the second. Far from here, beyond cities unbuilding and mountains uneroding, forests deepen their roots into earlier versions of themselves. Tall trees shorten gracefully, canopy thinning into saplings. Branches retract, trunks slim into flexible stems, and bark becomes smooth again. Eventually even forests unforest, becoming open fields, becoming grasslands, becoming the quiet ground that once held only possibilities. Humans nearby do not panic. Their lives are softening. Choices are lightening. Someone unwraps a sandwich that immediately reassembles into ingredients, then into fresh produce, then into seed, then soil. Hunger does not grow because nothing is missing. Everything is returning. You imagine your own life story pulling threads backward. Scars lighten with gentle warmth, then fade into memories you never had to turn into lessons. Mistakes unhurt. Lessons unsting but somehow remain understood. You feel wiser without the ache. Your heart squeezes gently in reverse beat, cleansing without effort. It is as if every cell in your body is saying thank you to time for finally slowing down enough to care. Something playful dances along the edge of your thoughts. A mosquito you swatted yesterday is about to get unswatted, resurrecting itself into your airspace. But tonight, even insects feel respectful. They unbite their victims, leaving behind only unitchy skin and dignity. You gaze along the horizon where the ocean glimmers under a sky that is learning how to be darker again. Waves climb backward against the shore, smoothing sand into seamlessness. Seashells undrop from their places, rolling gently back into underwater cradles. Life beneath the waves follows its own choreography. Schools of fish form tighter groups, scatter backward through coral that unbreaks and regains every hue, Jellyfish pulse into simpler shapes and earlier forms. Some revert into tiny specks of pot. Far deeper, colossal creatures feel the pull. Whales sing songs unsung, notes returning to throats without sorrow. They swim backward into younger waters, where their ancestors greet them with a quiet, ancient understanding. Eventually they begin shedding complexity, bones rearranging, fins shifting toward what once came before. The sea itself seems younger, its salt content reversing grain by grain, becoming the taste of a world before tears, before floods, before the salt of struggle. People still argue whether evolution is purposeful or playful, but in backward time, purpose does not matter. Only comfort does. Life is relaxing into earlier forms not because it must, but because it may. Somewhere in a quiet corner of the world, birds lose their feathers, becoming dinosaurs in reverse fashion. But even they shrink, shedding weight and aggression alike, becoming gentle reptiles that crawl with curiosity. The thundering feet of titan beasts soften into tiny paws and scaled stretches. The ground shakes less and less as giants unbecome. You witness Earth healing not forward into something new, but backward into something less burdened. Complexity unwinds like a braid loosening strand by strand. Every living thing steps calmly into its previous chapter, guided by a kindness in the physics of rewind. A quiet thought tickles your awareness. If life keeps unwinding this gently, where will you go? Who will you become? You are not worried, you are comforted. Every step backward feels like memory gained, not memory lost. Childhood warmth returns. The most tender parts of your past draw closer. Responsibility melts into curiosity. You breathe, and your breath feels like yesterday. Your heartbeat becomes the rhythm you had long before fear discovered your name. You feel playfulness re-enter your muscles, thoughts turning soft at the edges. Life is not disappearing. It is becoming ready to begin again. You allow your eyes to drift half-closed, resting inside a universe that cares more for origins than outcomes. You feel everything getting kinder, simpler, closer to the start, and the story continues to unwind, inviting you deeper into the comfort of what once was. Backward time whispers softly, "Return." You feel smaller in the most comfortable way, like the universe has cupped you gently in its hands. The air hums with a soft truth. Everything around you is made of tiny pieces that have been traveling together for a very long forward journey, and now they get to retrace their steps. Particles begin remembering where they came from. Your fingertips tingle. Atoms inside you shift their priorities. Instead of holding tightly to the shapes they built, they start releasing history, one gentle moment at a time. Bones feel a little lighter, skin a little softer. All those trillions of tiny building blocks that once rushed forward into complexity are easing backward into elegant simplicity. Your breath comes out in reverse flow again, and as the air glides back in afterward, molecules nudge each other politely, as if whispering apologies for all the rushing around over the years. Your lungs feel new, because newness is part of the backward process. People still argue whether cause makes effect, or effect makes cause. Tonight the debate seems silly. Everything just happens, then unhappens because it wants to. Science can wait until morning. Somewhere deep inside your body, your atoms check their cosmic passports. They remember being forged in stars. They remember drifting through cold space. They remember the moment they joined the planet that now unages beneath you. Every heartbeat feels like a reunion of ancient travelers. A tiny laugh tumbles out of you, then pulls right back in. You think of all the times you dropped something important. Now reverse time is dropping things back into your hands. The universe is like a soft-spoken, lost and found clerk who never lost anything in the first place. You look around. Colors seem brighter not because there is light, but because particles prefer their earlier, more enthusiastic hues. The world feels freshly painted. Even darkness has a glow to it, like shadows are proud to be shadows again. Objects start softening into their ingredients. A wooden desk in front of you bends its edges subtly, wood grain unwinding into simpler patterns. The tree that donated its trunk begins to ungive the gift, returning lumber into raw potential, cellulose folding into sap, sap into water, water into pure movement. The desk does not vanish. It becomes a memory of trees. Your phone lies beside you again, but its glass starts to look less glassy. Minerals whisper to each other. We remember different shapes. Circuits loosen into straight lines. Data unwrites itself into zeros. Zeros melt into nothing. The digital world undigits. Somewhere on the other side of Earth, skyscrapers are becoming quarries, metal beams becoming molten ore, plastic signs turning back into fields of sunlit algae. Everything simplifies itself with such politeness that the transformation feels like self-care. Atoms reorganize without stress. If they had shoulders, you imagine they would shrug in relief. A quirky thought crosses your mind. If atoms gossip, do they complain about being stuck in complicated life forms? Do they enjoy becoming hydrogen again, free to float and dream? Beneath your feet, Earth's core thrums with a deeper backward pulse. The very metals that shaped human progress reverse their journey through smelters, furnaces, factories. Iron forges backward into rust. Rust slips back into soil. Soil settles into rock. Rock melts in the magma that raised continents long ago. Particles can be stubborn, but tonight, none of them resist. Chemistry itself is relaxing its rules. Bonds unbond, gently and willingly. It is like watching responsibility dissolve into possibility. Your body feels younger still, but youth does not mean smaller. It means simpler, calmer, less rushed. Each cell chooses to undivide at its own pace, remembering the comfort of being energy instead of structure. Your spine loosens tension stored from years of gravity's persuasion. Muscles ease into softness. It is not regression. It is release. You notice that the wind outside has paused. It is no longer pushing air forward. Instead, air calmly arranges itself into stillness, like the atmosphere is meditating. Somewhere above the clouds, particles of starlight that were headed away from Earth now bend, reconsidering. Photons return to the sun like loyal pets checking back with their owner. Entire beams of light behave as if distance is overrated. A gentle pressure tugs at your consciousness. It feels like a suggestion that backward might soon reach the source. Not a threat, a promise, a homecoming. The universe might be preparing you to understand what lies before beginnings. Scientists still wonder if particles carry memory, if they know exactly where they have been. In this moment, you feel the answer. Yes, they do. They always have. And now they are showing you. Atoms that were part of your heartbeat yesterday might be part of a star tomorrow, or a star yesterday, depending how you define direction. Time is getting playful. It is mixing the order of things like a deck of cards before a brand new game. Your bed continues its backward housekeeping. Mattress foam regains its spring. Fabric fibers thicken. Eventually, the bed will be threads, then cotton, then soil, then the idea of comfort. But for now, it just feels soft, perfectly soft. You rest deeper into its embrace. Time cannot surprise you anymore. It has already shown its cards. It wants you peaceful, safe, present in the past that awakens. A single thought settles comfortably in your mind. Every particle in your body is going home, and you are coming with them. You feel yourself drifting into the quietest stretch of backward time, where the universe no longer rushes to unmake its creations. Instead, everything slows, gliding toward a horizon where motion feels optional. Time's river becomes a still lake, and you are floating at its center. You lie peacefully as your body relaxes into a version of itself that is less complicated. Muscles release, thoughts unspin, memories drift away like gentle boats returning to their docks. Every experience you carried is placing itself back into possibility, and strangely, you feel fuller without them. You are becoming the most rested version of you that ever existed. Outside, The world looks calmer, smoother. Noise unstretches into silence. The hum of electricity withdraws into wires that no longer need to buzz. Conversations dissolve into shared glances. Even laughter turns into breath before it turns into feeling. Nothing is loud. Nothing is late. Everything is early. Biology continues unwinding into simplicity. Animals regress into older versions of themselves. But now those movements slow too. Dinosaurs shrink into ancestors shaped like dreams, then shrink again into smaller lives that have forgotten teeth and thunder. Soon the ground holds only early warmth, only first intentions. Plants no longer hurry to grow. Leaves, already folded inward from earlier unblooms, now soften into beginnings. Entire forests become a gentle hint of green. Mosses give the first whispers of life. Evolution is pausing to think about what it wants to become when it gets another chance. The oceans rest beneath the moon, calm and content. Waves flatten into glass. Tides pause in mid-breath. Salt gives back its flavor, becoming clean water, becoming the memory of water, becoming the suggestion that someday liquid might exist. Even the moon slows its dance, a shy companion ready to wait forever at the edge of motion. People still wonder if time ever truly started, if maybe there is no first moment at all. Tonight, the universe seems to agree. Beginnings do not need a timestamp, they just need quiet. Your heartbeat feels slower, not fragile but eternal. Each beat backs gently into the one before, forming a soft loop of steady peace. No deadlines, no decay, just pulse. The earth cools in reverse warmth, losing years of heat collected from forward motion. Crust thickens, volcanoes shrink, unerupting magma back into molten patience. Mountains lower themselves with careful humility. Continents slide closer still, hugging into one land that feels like a single deep breath of home. You notice something playful. Gravity seems less serious. Objects feel lighter. Maybe that is what happens when energy undisperses and matter simplifies. Nothing needs to hold anything down when beginnings are near. Light itself continues to change. There are fewer stars now. The sky darkens, but it is not scary. Darkness feels like a blanket, thick and safe, wrapping the universe in restful comfort. The last few points of starlight withdraw into deeper past. Photons decide they want to take a nap before the first spark. Your thoughts slow to match the universe's rhythm. You think a single idea at a time, then half an idea, then just the feeling of an idea. And it is enough. Even humor takes a break. That quirky voice in your head that made jokes about reverse hiccups and time-traveling crumbs is settling down with a cozy sigh. Silence becomes the most delightful companion. If someone could see you right now, they might think you are asleep, but you are more awake than you have ever been. Awake in reverse. Awake at the edge of unhappening. People still argue whether the universe must always move, whether stillness is a failure. Yet here, with everything relaxing into what was before what was, you witness the highest form of peace. Rest is not the opposite of motion. Rest is the reason motion exists. You sense the final stars now, those last stubborn sparks of shining persistence. They wink out not in death, but in regeneration, pulling their warmth inward until all the light of the cosmos gathers into one unbroken glow. Then that glow softens, shrinks, concentrates. Time has stopped flowing. It is pooling. You are here, floating inside the pause that existed before existence. There are no clocks, no before, no after, just closeness. You inhale backward once more, then you stop needing breath. Not because anything is wrong, because everything is completely, perfectly right. You have arrived in the moment before moments, and the universe is waiting with you, ready for whatever comes next. You hover in a universe holding its breath. Everything around you has become still enough to hear the silence think. It is the quietest place you have ever imagined existing inside, where the cosmos is smooth as silk, and the concept of later has not yet been invented. But then, something happens. A soft pressure builds deep inside your awareness, like the very fabric of time is stretching its fingers, deciding it might want to move again. Backward motion is slowing. That gentle rewind that comforted you all night begins to hesitate, like a river meeting a shoreline. You can feel the particles around you reassessing their choices. Hydrogen, which had been drifting into loose potential, now seems to wonder, should it stay this free? Or should it get ready to become something new? People still argue whether time is a direction or just a habit. Right now, the universe is deciding if habits can change. Your heartbeat, once happily looping into earlier rhythms, pauses for a moment. It is not scared. It is curious. Like a drummer wondering if it is time for a new song. Blood rests peacefully, flowing neither out nor in, simply being present inside you like a warm reminder of purpose. Light, which had long retreated into deeper past, twitches slightly. A photon flickers as if forgetting the plan, then another, and another. The darkness around you shivers, not cold. Anticipation. Your thoughts become crisper. You feel a growing awareness that direction is no longer predetermined. Maybe the story will not end at the beginning. Maybe beginnings and endings are the same door, just opened from different sides. If time decides to move forward again, will you age twice as fast? Reverse time youth was fun while it lasted, but honestly, bedtime reset buttons do not need scientific explanation to feel fantastic. Your body waits. So does the universe. This is the moment between exhale and inhale, between the drop of a pebble and the first ripple, between how things were and how they might be. Around you, the last hints of backward evolution pause in their tracks. The oceans hold their calm, glassy surface. Early life remains curled in microscopic secrets. Earth's crust stays thick and gentle beneath your resting form. The moon remains close, a companion unsure whether to drift away again or stay involved. A pulse of possibility ripples through the cosmos. Not a bang, not a roar. A question. You feel time asking permission. As if the universe wants to know, are you ready for the direction to flip? Atoms in your body perk up with excitement. They enjoyed learning where they came from, but they are also thrilled to see what they can build next. Structure wants another chance to flourish. Complexity wants to play again. Evolution wants to dance. You can practically feel mitochondria stretching like tiny cats who have finished their nap. Stars begin to blush back into existence. Not fully formed, just shy brightening. A tiny point of light appears above you, then shrinks inward again like it is deciding whether to commit. But the next pulse of time sends encouragement. Forward and backward are starting to blend. The universe is bending to choose a direction. Your awareness floats effortlessly on the brink of something wondrous. You realize this moment, this exact stillness, is rarer than any future discovery or past memory. It is the only time the universe hesitates, the only time it thinks, the only time it listens. People still wonder what came before creation. Maybe the answer is simple. A pause, a decision, a dream. You inhale again. Not backward, not forward, just a breath. The kind that reminds you of how beautifully possible everything is. A microglow of starlight shines in the corner of your awareness, like a firefly in the world's longest night. Time has found the edge of reversal, and now, slowly, softly, it considers turning. You remain weightless, resting, ready. A single moment stretches infinitely. Then the stillness begins to move. The universe is about to choose a new direction. And you are right at the center of that choice. Time trembles, just a little, like a giant creature waking up from the deepest sleep imaginable. You feel the shift before you see it, a soft tickle under your skin, a gentle persuasion in your cells, a promise in your breath. Backward motion has finally slowed to a perfect halt, and now, inch by inch, the direction begins to turn. The universe is ready to start again. Atoms inside you stretch with new ambition. They have rested long enough. They have enjoyed remembering who they were. Now they want to discover who they can become. A tiny spark ignites in the deepest part of you. Not flashy, not explosive, more like a slow dawn inside your chest. Outside, darkness stirs. The last quiet remnants of pre-beginning stillness start to brighten at their edges. A tiny shimmer appears in the far, far reaches of the cosmos. Not a star. Not yet. Just a hint that heat might want to exist again. Photons wiggle with anticipation. Space warms like a blanket being pulled from a dryer. People still debate whether time has a favorite direction, forward or backward, which feels more natural. But the truth tonight seems simple. The universe wants motion. It wants curiosity. It wants stories. And stories need time that flows. Your breath becomes a little more future-facing. Air glides in properly, expanding your chest in a familiar way. You keep breathing smoothly because your body understands the assignment. It feels oddly empowering to choose the direction of your own lungs. Earth responds too. Oceans begin to stir again. The glassy stillness of water breaks into the tiniest ripples, like the sea remembered how to dance. Tides hesitate, then gently begin their forward sway. Salt returns to the ocean grain by grain, the world rediscovering its taste for emotion. Land rises slowly, mountains remembering their quest for the sky. Forests begin to think about leaves again. Seeds feel a soft command. Grow. Chlorophyll yawns awake like a sleepy painter, picking up green paint for the first time. Creatures that had retreated into simplicity start stretching into complexity again. Cells divide not in reverse this time, but with purpose. Little sparks of instinct return. Life is no longer undoing. It is creating, blossoming, moving toward the unknown. And you feel yourself expanding into your own story again. Wrinkles will eventually return, but so will laughter lines earned from joy. Experiences will come, some mistakes too, but you already know they can be undone, softened, unhurt. This time you walk forward with a kinder heart toward yourself. You try to raise a hand. It moves forward, smoothly, like the universe was waiting to see that gesture. You smile. The smile stays. The smile becomes the first proof of new forward time. Light builds in the sky, not from a sun rising, but from creation deciding to shine again. The air warms in a way that feels like an invitation. Gravity feels more serious again, pulling you into the future with steady patience. Your bed welcomes your movement. It still softens and supports you, but now the creases stay when you press into them. The pillow holds your shape because your weight belongs in the moment you occupy. You realize something beautiful. All those particles that remembered where they came from are now excited to see where you take them next. You are both ancient and newborn. You are both origin and outcome. The universe hums with potential energy. Not loud, just sure. You look around. A new star winks into existence in the distance, then another, and more. Starlight is gathering again, lighting up the sky like tiny sparks, celebrating the chance to shine forward. Constellations rehearse their future shapes. Your heartbeat, once looping backward, now drives inward and onward. It flickers with gentle determination. You feel like the first living thing to ever believe in tomorrow. People still wonder what time wants from us. But tonight you understand. Time wants you to continue, to grow, to rest, to laugh, to learn, to love, to try again, and again, and again. Forward flow returns fully. It does not feel like pressure anymore. It feels like freedom. You breathe in once more, steady and full. A new beginning unfolds around you. Nothing is lost. Everything is learned. You are exactly where the universe wants you to be. Here, moving gently into the future, knowing backward and forward both belong to you. The story continues, not because it must, but because it is ready. And you feel ready too. You settle deeper into the softness beneath you. The room is calmer now, a familiar shape of quiet that feels like home. Your body sinks into a rhythm that promises rest. Time may be flowing forward again, but it is in no hurry. It takes each second with relaxing care. Let your thoughts drift like tiny boats on calm water. You do not need to steer them. Let them float. You earned this peace. You traveled backward across cosmic epochs and returned gently to your own bed, safe and whole. Listen to whatever faint sounds the night shares with you. The soft hum of a fan, the distant whisper of the world outside. Even silence has a lullaby now. Everything around you is giving you permission to rest. Your eyelids grow heavier. Shoulders soften. Jaw loosens. Muscles uncoil from the inside out. Each breath wraps you like the coziest blanket. You feel warm where you want to be warm, cool where you want to be cool. Comfort balances itself perfectly around you. If a thought tries to bubble up, smile at it tenderly. Let it float away like a dandelion seed catching a slow breeze. There is nothing to figure out now, nothing to solve, nothing to rewind. You are okay, exactly okay, and every moment ahead carries gentleness that you have already earned. Feel the mattress hugging your weight. Feel your pulse finding the pace of sleep. Let the soft rhythm of night cradle you. Time is your friend tonight. It waits patiently. It holds you kindly. It whispers the simplest truth into your resting mind. This is your moment to rest. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts fade into softness. Let yourself drift. Good night, traveller of time. Good night, tired heart. Let sleep find you easily.